What's up, everybody? We are back with another Sonic Academy Kick 2 tutorial. Since I see a lot of people struggling making their own kicks, the key of the bass line, the way you process the bass line, in this case is just the Saturn and the LFO tool. To keep it simple, I think is good enough. As a starting point, I think is good enough, just because then you can move around the keys to see which one fits better. You can play with Saturn and you can play with these two last nodes on the kick to make it fit your bass line the best way. You pay attention here. This is a very good example of what I'm talking about. To me, that was a very good example of what a nice phase correlation between kick and bass looks like. But if you look at here, I have it set to E at 41 Hertz. Let me show you even better. See? The last two notes are in E 41. Okay? And yet the bass line is in F sharp, meaning that you don't really need to have the key of the kick in the same, because it will just multiply the amplitude usually around 6 dB if it's exactly the same. So I thought this was very important to just get it out of the way. Anyways, enough rambling about, and now what I'm gonna do is leave it here. The first thing I'm gonna do is to set the tempo, which I usually do with this one. The tempo of my track is 144. This is the name of the app. So it's around 2.8, something like that. Okay, I have it already, but I push it a little bit longer, and then you can always go back and tighten it up. The first thing I do always is that, just to make sure that I'm not getting overextended of the half beat. And then I go to the amplitude and I lower the amplitude a little bit, so I have a little bit of room to play with. The kick is not so loud. And then I make sure that I have that classic shape around like so. I think I'm going for the halfway mark, which is also a very good point to bring that up. And then I go lower, round it up, and then I make another one at the end, just to make sure that we have no pops or there is like a floppiness at the end of the audio if you don't do this last curve. Let's listen to it. We can leave it at that, just to make the video a little bit shorter. Let's do already this, so we have that, and a little bit of curve here also. Okay, it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's just for you to see the thought process behind. We can already tell it's a psychedelic trance kick, and then we move to the tone shaping. You know, how fast do we want the ramp to go? As you can see, the first thing I did was to take away a little bit of the too much high end from the kick, because I'm gonna add a hi-hat later. So something exactly like that. Yeah. And then I go for the 1K mark, more or less. Okay, something like that. And I round it up all the way. And we're here. As simple as that, actually. That will be the meat and potatoes. But of course, we know that the 50s are the magic frequency for a kick. So I'm gonna aim for something like that, and then I'm gonna add another note just before that one in the same frequency. So the second part, this part, which is the one that mixes with the bass, is gonna be at 41 the whole time, more or less. Okay, let's listen to it. Much better. So around the halfway mark again, I'm gonna lower a little bit that part so we have less of a boxiness sound, something like that. It's a bit more modern. we can say. And then another mark again halfway, just to make it even softer around there, more or less. Killer. Round it up, just a touch. Cool. Now, because I don't want to touch this part over here, so what I do is just go to the EQ, take away a little bit of that, 1K, 2K mark, just to make it less digital. Doesn't have to be exactly the same, something like this, okay? And I added just a touch of distortion. Be very gentle, very careful with this distortion. It's really hard to tell on speakers. If you listen carefully with your headphones, you will find that it's adding much more drive than what it seems. And here we go. Just for you to see. See how similar they are and how different they sound. Even though they look the same on the analyzer, you can totally tell how different they are. It's very, very important for you to practice, repeat what I just did. That's what I will encourage you to do. Don't use my preset that you can find in the descriptions down below. Try to open a new instance and recreate it again and again and again. At the end, you will find a way to make it your own. You will create always your kicks that fits perfect with your style and bassline. So yeah, this is it for this week. Thank you so much for following, and I will see you next week.